Ryan, it's good to see you again. And listen, I mean, is this binary on what happens with OPEC in terms of what steps Texas might take?
No, I don't. You said binary, as if they cut, we'll cut, they don't, we don't. I don't think so. In fact, look, we got to look at the landscape. When you look at if regardless of what happens, inventories are getting so full.
We'll give this shot.
Sorry, what?
Just a second. Ryan, going back to you, so you were just saying, regardless of what happens, inventories are getting so full. So in other words, even if you stop production today, you'd still have an overcapacity problem.
That's right. And once inventories fill up, then what's going to happen is production in the United States is going to drop dramatically. And so there's going to be a reduction in global production very soon. The question is it planned or not? And we're going to see it coming out of the United States, regardless really of whether there are cuts overseas.
Right. And that's why people say, Texas, your commission doesn't need to do anything because the market will take care of itself. They say Exxon's reducing CapEx, rig production by 30%. They say, like Brian just pointed out, the rig count's down 170 in the past 3 weeks. So do you guys need to step in and do anything, or will the production fall naturally?
Well, as you know, on the 14th, we're having that exact discussion, and I've been getting people from both sides. But let me explain it this way. Once supply chain gets completely locked up, which happens when you have no intermittent storage, now it becomes very difficult to maximize production. So one of the things people say is, look, if we let storage fill up completely, yeah, maybe you don't do anything, but then a refinery shuts down and an oil producer, hundreds of miles away and upstream has to shut down immediately, and it's hard to do. So we'll have a real imbalance in that case. What we're looking for now is people are asking, like, if they prorate, or they cut, we start leaving ourselves some intermittent storage, the entire industry will function a lot more efficiently, which is what we need when prices are so low.
Right. So Parsley Energy, Pioneer, they've requested these production cuts. I know you said you're open to the idea, but your fellow commissioners do not necessarily appear to be open to that idea. You guys meet on Tuesday to kind of review what companies like Exxon have said, and Exxon's not in favor of it. The vote would be the following Tuesday on April 21st, and it would only take effect on May 1st, even if you do come to sign some kind of agreement. Is it going to be too late?
Well, I don't think it's going to be too late. It is later than it should be. I mean, if we need to do this, right, which is still the question, then ideally we would have done it, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. But look, in the middle of this downturn, it's very hard to move fast with new things or new approaches. You mentioned, look, I think actually the three commissioners are fairly close. All of us are cautious. All of us are free market people. All of us say we want to do what's best for Texans. We want to do what's best for Americans. And so we're evaluating this. No one has come out and said we are absolutely 100% for it. We also haven't said we're 100% against it. My thing is to try to put data out there, and I've tried to speak into this as an option. My big disappointment has been some people have said, we don't even want to have the conversation. And frankly, I think that's been short-sighted. And a lot of the market agrees with you.
So we also know, and these projections are super interesting from you guys, you say, look, what happens is with the oil market is contingent on when shelter-in-place orders are lifted. If they are lifted in May, the market could get back to normal by September. If they're not lifted till August, it could take 2 more years. So there is a huge swing for how long we take to get the economy back to normal. I wonder if OPEC doesn't cut it all today, and we've seen the oil price swing negative. If there is no, 20 million barrel cut or anything like that coming, is that going to force your hand?
It's going to force everybody's hand. Let's be clear. That model you're talking about, I reran it last night or 2 nights ago. And I've been running this based on all these different economic models, downturns, unemployment numbers. And if OPEC cuts nothing and we end up sheltering in place through August, I think that the world is going to get down to a consumption level of around 65 million barrels a day. And it's going to stay there for a little while. And once storage fills up, then that's all the world can produce. Well, you say, where's that going to come from? That's going to come out of everywhere. So in the end, everybody's going to cut. If we end up having that scenario, the question is it a planned way or a reactive way? And does it end up really crushing some people while others stay okay? Or does everybody kind of share the load while we get through this downturn? I mean, those are really the fundamental questions.
Yeah, but you're sympathetic to that idea?
To trying to make proration, to trying to cut?
Yeah, kind of having everybody share it. Remain open to it?
Look, there is, and I think I heard just before I got on, you guys were talking about supply chain. Energy supplies have got to be stable if we expect any sort of rapid recovery out of this recession. And if we lock up the supply chain with no intermittent storage, put a lot of producers out of business, then I am concerned that energy supplies will not be stable. And you'll see massive spikes and falls in oil prices. I think that's bad for everybody. And so I think this is a time with this unprecedented level of challenge on everybody around the world that we would also have an unprecedented level of cooperation. So yes, I am absolutely open to the idea.
All right. Commissioner Sitton, we thank you again.
Thanks for having me.
Hope to check back in with you, Commissioner Ryan Sitton of the Texas Railroad Commission.